All right, everyone, the pundits are sad because as of today, it looks like finally there is going to be a full floor vote on whether to confirm Brett Kavanaugh or not. And it looks like the Republicans have the votes because Joe Manchin, of all people, a Democrat, although, maybe slightly more sane one than a lot of the Democrats in Congress, which isn't saying much for the U.S. Senate. He said, well, yeah, I'm going to vote to confirm Kavanaugh. I believe it would be a tie even if he didn't. Because the only one holding out is Murkowski. If that were to happen, because all the Democrats are expected to vote nay, the Republicans would still win even if that happened and one of their Republican senators defected because Pence would come in to break the tie. But with Manchin saying, yeah, I'm going to vote yes, they don't even need that. Now Lisa Murkowski, one of the three senators on the Republican side who was sort of like waffling there along with Jeff Flake and Marcia Collins, has decided to vote no. So she gave this fucking 40-minute long self-aggrandizing speech about, due process is great, but I believe her, and, victims, and even when we haven't established that there is a victim. It's very funny, by the way, do you see this? You see the cowardice of people on the right. They're pussyfooting around the issue and saying, well, I'm not disbelieving the victim. I totally understand she was assaulted. I just don't believe it was Brett Kavanaugh. Nobody has the balls to come out and say, hey, there's no evidence of an assault having occurred in any capacity. It looks like a bunch of bullshit for which no evidence exists, with an individual making an accusation that they don't know the day, they don't know the year, they don't know anything about the events other than they are 100% certain that Brett Kavanaugh fucking groped them up. And then you have these other claims that have been largely walked back that the FBI barely looked into because they were so incredible. I'm just going to come out and say it. I think the claims are bullshit. I don't think Brett Kavanaugh assaulted anybody. No, I don't believe Christine Ford. And I don't have to believe Christine Ford because Christine Ford has not shown evidence that she's a victim. See, I'll go further than some of these people that are in office. They have to be very sensitive and worry about their public opinion polls. And oh my God, I'm in a close race. I'm only ahead by 1 point. I better not, say that I disbelieve somebody who is easily disbelieved because they don't have any evidence of their claims. The FBI found so. The FBI said there was no corroboration of the claims. That's good enough for me. Now, I thought the Democrats loved the FBI and sucked them off all day and would worship at their feet, but apparently now the FBI's, Trump did something. Trump has purged the good people of the FBI and corrupted them. Oh no, they're just a tool of the man. And it was funny. It's funny, Michael Moore weighing in was the funniest part of all, where it's like, I told you we couldn't count on the FBI. People on the watch list are the ones that change things to the positive. It's like, yeah, people said that for years. And people like Michael Moore didn't believe it. Yeah, exactly. Julian Assange, who's certainly on a million different watch lists, yeah, he's changed the world for the positive. Edward Snowden, James O'Keefe, people like this, yeah, they changed the world for the positive. They just happen to change it in a direction that you happen not to like because the direction you want to go in is corrupt. Because you're a globalist. That's the whole thing. But we're going to get a Kavanaugh vote. Supposedly, now, there's still a few hours left for Mitch McConnell or Chuck Grassley or Jeff Flake or Marcia Collins or somebody to do some more stupid shit and keep this stupid show trial going, which is basically what it's morphed into. This is basically nothing more than them sitting there posturing for the midterms. This is basically an extension of the election. They're campaigning right now. Pretty much everyone there knew how they were going to vote anyway. It was just like three people pretending to hold out. In the end, Jeff Flake and Marcia Collins decided to vote yay. Lisa Murkowski decides to, I don't know exactly what her strategy is going forward. I'm not sure why she chose to vote nay. And then Manchin's like, well, yeah, I'm satisfied. So he's the one Democrat that's going to be sane. And so naturally, a lot of his donors will flee. Maybe he'll have to switch parties. He might literally have to switch and become a Republican, which would be funny because I think he has a largely liberal voting record, if I remember correctly. It's very funny. And then it's funny to see the liberals treating Manchin the way that the conservatives treated Jeff Flake up until yesterday. It's funny because they're like, well, Jeff Flake flaked. He will flake. He's a rhino neocon. And I understand that, even though most of the Republicans that'll vote for Kavanaugh are a bunch of rhino neocons too. And then Manchin, it's like now he's getting treated the same way, like a pariah within party. But it's like, fucking a lot of the other Democrats probably inside, they know that Kavanaugh is innocent of these particular charges. They know that, but they don't want to go against their constituents. Their Democratic voting bases hate Kavanaugh. They're convinced, by the way, you see things going further. The justification for opposition to Kavanaugh has morphed over time. The first opposition to Kavanaugh early on, before any accusations were made, was basically he's far right, even though multiple firms that studied his record of views and his decision said no. It's basically center right. In fact, he's a little bit less far right than the person he's replacing, which is hilarious. He's actually more of a centrist on many issues. And he sided with the Bush. This is one thing I didn't like. I preferred that other, the female candidate, that I can't remember her name, that Trump was optioning on his short list. Because one thing that I don't like about Kavanaugh is he stood with the Bush administration on surveillance. Well, that signals to me that he's going to stand even with Democratic administrations on it. This is a problem. Like Krasenstein was pointing out this morning, well, Kavanaugh supports mass surveillance. Yeah, Bush loved to conduct surveillance. Obama did too. You said nothing about it for 8 years. Fucking shut up about the issue. Partisan. Total partisan. But here's the thing. First, it was ideological. It's like, well, he has the wrong ideas and issues. Then it was, he groped a woman. He hashtag Me Too. Oh my God, there's an allegation against him. We can't vote for him yet. At the very least, we have to investigate. And they're like, well, fucking, it's one accusation. Then then they say, well, he's a gang rapist, which is totally different from the initial accusation. Then it was his behavior is unbecoming someone for SCOTUS because he gets angry, he breaks down a little bit in tears because he's been called a gang rapist for a week and had his name dragged through the mud. Then it was he likes beer too much. Oh my God, he drinks more. Then it was he lied under oath. And now what is it? Roe v. Wade. They've defaulted to the age-old, like 2-decade-old perennial wedge issue of the Democrats, which is if the we were told that Roe v. Wade would die if Trump was elected. We were told Roe v. Wade would die if Gorsuch got in. This is a claim that keeps getting made and it never actually comes true. Roe versus Wade is settled case law. Kavanaugh knows it. The rest of SCOTUS knows it. It's not going to face any challenge. Who's going to bring a challenge against Roe v. Wade? Who's going to challenge the law? In order for the Supreme Court to weigh in on it at all, they're going to have to consider it in light of the fact that some challenger has come along and said Roe v. Wade is unlawful, or it contradicts some other thing that we want to do. Who's going to strike it down? Some red state's going to come forward and say, well, we disagree. We should be able to ban abortion because reasons. So then the SCOTUS says, oh yeah, by the way, we're throwing out this decision from decades and decades ago. They got it wrong back then. By the way, facing mass uproar, I realize that support for abortion itself has fallen slightly. Support for the concept, though, simply in a vacuum that women should have general autonomy over their bodies, I think remains more or less unchanged. It's become kind of acceptable within the population. It's like, what state was it? There was some sort of law they wanted to pass. I think it was Alabama years ago that would have basically endangered the ability of abortion clinics to function. And it was shot down by a significant margin. That's in Alabama. So I don't think you have to worry. The blue states, Roe v. Wade is not going to get any significant challenge. There is some of the moralistic, religious Republicans will play up to their base and say, well, I think that it's a baby at 2 weeks old and there shouldn't be none of them abortions, including in the case of rape and incest or both. They might say that to their fans. Are they actually going to challenge it? Are they willing to destroy the entire republic over an issue that would literally cause riots in the streets? I don't think so. But we all see how ballless the Republicans are anyway. Look how ballless most of the conservatives in this country are. They managed to get backed down 3 or 4 different times on the Kavanaugh issue, despite the fact that the allegations against him were totally, obviously, demonstrably false, and despite the fact that the FBI had to come in and say there's no credible claim here. They told him that before they even were forced to do their 3-day-long investigation. So you're telling me that a party that has no balls, that can be in control of the House, the Senate, the White House, a supermajority of state legislatures, a supermajority almost of governor seats, you are telling me that a party that controls absolutely everything and now has a majority on the Supreme Court as of later today, unless McConnell kicks the bucket or drops the soap or does some other stupid shit, you're telling me that they can't do anything, but they will magically endanger a near 50-year-old, at this point I think, or 50-year-old bit of case law that is widely supported or at least considered ambivalent by the majority of the population. The majority of the population does not oppose Roe v. Wade. I think repeal for that is unpopular even among most right-wing groups. I support a woman's right to choose. Yeah, and I don't really care. I also support Planned Parenthood. I realize that they're not actually like, some people think you go in there and there's like blood everywhere and beheading equipment. It's like there's like dead baby pictures everywhere, and they've got like the shrine to Moloch in the basement and the rape dungeon and stuff. And Oprah Winfrey's trucks come every night and take away the fetus cells to turn into face cream. It's not actually like that. Like, they do contraception and stuff and referrals as well. Abortion's one of the services they offer. I don't fucking care, though. I don't care if they offer abortion. I think people should be able to opt out of their tax money going to them for moral reasons. That's as far as I would go. That's the only exception I would make. It's basically, you don't want to fund abortion? Okay, you don't have to. Problem solved. You no longer have any ability to make a legal claim, and private groups can pony up the small amount of money that'll be left out anyway, so no problem. Who fucking cares? Let it be partially privately funded. But at the same time, when Planned Parenthood comes in and says, well, Kavanaugh's going to endanger women's rights. No, he's not. You watch. In his entire tenure, he'll probably never have to make a decision even relating to abortion. It's a dead issue. It's like gay marriage. Will you stop bringing up dead issues and holding them up as though they were contemporary in order to scare people into voting for Democrats or protesting all the time? It's not reality. It's like if the Republicans were to say, well, there's a war on Christmas. The old, 2000s era Bill O'Reilly shtick. We must do more. Vote Republican and protest. Put out Jesus signs and crosses everywhere because there's a war on Christmas. No, there's not. It's a dead issue, too. Nobody gives a fuck about that shtick anymore. Nobody cares about... The abortion issue is settled already. People have a right to acquire abortions. They would acquire them anyway. Today's global world, they just go to Canada or Mexico to get them anyway. They were doing that before. As a proponent of being pro-choice and as a supporter of Planned Parenthood, I would vote to confirm Kavanaugh. He's not going to endanger it at all. That's a fucking boogeyman issue, and the left knows it. So it's very funny to see them pivot to women, in a more general, biological sense. It's very, very funny to see. That's basically the last gasp of their attempt to resist. They've already lost. That's about all. Peace out.